So welcome everyone to this week's Sangha, week one of a 4-week series where we're going to focus on mindfulness, and each week we'll have a different area of focus within mindfulness. And this week's focus will be the foundations of mindfulness. The way that the time together is set up is really that we come in, we then say hello, greet each other, and then settle into our breath, meditate for a little bit, calm the nerves, soothing the breath, settling into the body. And then we'll open up a conversation and begin a discussion where we talk about mindfulness. And I have a couple questions where we'll just prompt each other to talk about it. But we don't have to necessarily stay on the question or answer the question. It's more that it's a prompt to help us to facilitate the conversation. And after that, we'll close and talk about what we liked or what feedback or recommendations that you have, given that this is the first that we're doing. This is a donation-based class, so there is no fee for the class. So it's more that we are offering the donations to, I just went blank. Oakland Peace Center, thank you. To the Oakland Peace Center. All that information is right here on the front, and we even have the codes to scan. So with that, any questions on how we're going to set up the time together? Okay. Well, I hope that it's just an open and free-flowing conversation between us. I just happen to have this camera here in front of me for now. We'll see how the live video link works and if that does or doesn't make a difference for people, and get feedback from there. So please provide feedback. So with that, just a couple notes that I wanted to share. Our Sangha is a space where we cultivate presence, compassion, and wisdom together. Each session is an opportunity to pause, reconnect with yourself, and experience the richness of the present moment. So this is going to help us to anchor in our breath, give us greater clarity, and focus on our intentions. So let's take a few moments to ground ourselves, to fully arrive in this space together. We'll connect with our breath and our body and our senses to help center ourselves in the present moment. So please take a moment to make yourselves as comfortable as possible for this meditation. You can find a comfortable seated position, standing or lying down. You're welcome to place your feet flat on the ground or let them rest comfortably. Allow your hands to relax in your lap or by your sides. When you're ready, softly close your eyes or lower your gaze. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and release it slowly through the mouth. Inhale deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs. And exhale fully, releasing tension with each breath. Let your body settle a little more deeply into this moment. Now we'll shift your attention to your natural breath. Notice its natural rhythm as it flows in and out. There's no need to change it. Simply observe. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils and the warmth as it leaves. Notice how your chest or abdomen gently rises and falls with each breath. If your mind begins to wander, gently guide it back to your breath. Each inhale brings you into the present moment, and each exhale helps release tension. Now gently move your attention to your body. Notice the points of contact, the ground beneath your feet, the support beneath you. Bring awareness to your feet and slowly move upward through your legs, hips, torso, shoulders, and face. Observe tension or ease without judgment. If you notice any tightness, imagine sending your breath to those areas. Inhale ease and exhale tension, allowing yourself to feel grounded and supported. Expand your awareness to your senses. Notice the sounds around you, the hum of the room or distant noises. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin or the texture of your clothing. If your eyes are open, observe the colors and shapes around you. Let your senses bring you fully into this moment. Take one final deep breath in through your nose and exhale fully through your mouth. When you're ready, begin to bring some gentle movement back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes or roll your shoulders. You can open your eyes softly and take a moment to reorient yourself in the room. Thank you for grounding yourself. Let's carry this sense of calm and presence into the rest of our session. You're welcome to stay exactly as you are or seated. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. When we get to the group conversations and questions, then we'll definitely be seated so that we can participate upright. But for now, you're welcome to stay however you're most comfortable. Mindfulness is often described as the art of paying attention on purpose and without judgment. And this simple definition holds profound wisdom. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to go through life on autopilot, eating without tasting, walking without noticing, or listening without truly hearing. Mindfulness offers us an alternative to pause and engage fully with the richness of each moment. When we practice mindfulness, we notice the details of life that might otherwise go unnoticed. The song of the bird, the warmth of the sunlight, or the rhythm of our breath. These moments may seem small, but they bring calm, joy, and clarity. Mindfulness also helps us navigate challenges. When we encounter stress or discomfort, it gives us a space to observe our emotions, breathe, and respond with greater clarity and compassion. So let's hold on to these reflections as we continue in our group conversation. We'll take some time to share together and reflect together. Before we begin, though, let's remember that we have some ground rules for sharing. And Nancy, my assistant with some of the ground rules, would you mind reading those out for us?
Absolutely not. Ground rules for sharing. Speak from personal experience. Use I statements to share your own thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Be mindful of time. Limit your sharing to 3 to 5 minutes so that everyone has the opportunity to contribute. Maintain confidentiality. What is shared in this space stays in the space to ensure a safe and supportive environment. Listening is participation. You are welcome to listen without sharing. Silent presence is a valuable part of the Sangha.
Thank you. So with that, there's a couple prompts, as I mentioned, to sort of get us started in our conversation. And based off of that, there's a couple questions here.
Yes. So we have 3 questions, and I'm looking for 3 volunteers. Yay! Okay. I'll get my glasses.
Hopefully, I printed large enough.
Oh yes. Uh-oh. Okay, great. Thank you. All right.
Great. Who would like to begin with one of the questions?
Can go.
Okay.
What small ways could you bring mindfulness into your daily life? For example, pausing for a breath, savoring a meal, or listening fully to a loved one.
Would anybody like to share? Or would you like to share?
I can go. I read about, been like practicing mindfulness for some time and doing a bell from time to time. So there's an app actually that'll do like a mindfulness bell like every so often. You just kind of take a minute and just like do some breath work and just be mindful of the moment, just the present moment. And that's been pretty helpful for me.
Just to take a pause.
Yeah, just take a pause and breathe and just like be in the moment for a second. Yeah, that's been helpful for me.
I have my watch set up the same way.
Yeah.
So, and it's only at certain times, like when I'm at work, I know that those moments can come up, and it will
Especially when you're
indicate that
working.
it's time to
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah, it's especially helpful when you're working, like, and you're just like on it, and then all of a sudden,
Like, I need to take a minute.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I spend some time every morning. First thing I wake up, I just like have a coffee just by myself with my kids. It's my moment for myself at 5:15 in the morning. We kind of alone.
Do you do anything during that time that just, this is my time, savor?
I sit on my couch without my phone. It's like the best thing.
Lovely.
Can you read the question again?
Sure. What small ways could you bring mindfulness into your daily life? And the examples are pausing for a breath, savoring a meal, or listening fully to a loved one.
I can go. For me, I oftentimes find myself like practicing mindfulness when I'm like out in nature. And I don't know, I just recognize that like we're really not here on this earth for very long, and even like in difficult times, there's just like always things to be grateful for, especially when you're like aware of, your surroundings and just like accomplishments you've made in your life, like here. And yeah, I like today I just like went for a hike with my dog like in the rain, and I just like had so much fun, even though like I wasn't doing anything crazy. Like it just yeah, so I find it in nature, or I practice it in nature. And I just notice like if I'm in a certain environment that's just like not, I don't know, if I'm stressed, like I'll just change my environment and just notice something that like, I don't know, brings me joy. So that's kind of how I implement it. And I work with kids, so I do a lot of breathing with them, and I notice like I'm mindful and they're mindful of how they're feeling in that moment. And when you just turn it to your breath, like it just, yeah, you're able to calm yourself down. So yeah, I practice it that way.
That's so cool that you're sharing it with children.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
I can go. Oh, you want to go? No. I used to think that when you're working and you're in the zone, that you shouldn't break, you should just keep on going because you're like, so into it. So I used to think that was a good thing. So I would just, work for hours because I'm in the zone. And if I stop working and go to the bathroom, I'll break that process in my head. So but then what I would realize is I would sit down in front of my computer at 8 o'clock in the morning when I get to work, and the next thing you know, it's 12 and it's lunchtime, and I haven't gotten up from my chair. And it was like 4 hours, half a day of me just like, focused. I I didn't eat, didn't drink, didn't go to the bathroom, and that, I felt that was a good thing until I realized that it's not a good thing, because when I'm at home, I can't go 4 hours without going to the bathroom. I can go 4 hours without taking a drink of water. So I know that when I'm sitting in front of the desk, those things are not happening, and the mindfulness of it was, completely out. And so I realize that now it's actually good to break it up and take your time and leave the work and come back. And if you have to get back into it, you get back into it, because it's so much healthier to be this way for me.
It's a great point to get caught up in the routine of the day, and because the routines can be so helpful. At least for me, they feel like they can be really helpful to kind of guide me along as to what the next step is, and getting up and going to work and having the tasks that get you ready to go to work, and all the things along the way throughout the day. But then where is that moment, and how is it included? And often it kind of gets pushed to the side, and we're so focused, or at least I feel so focused on accomplishing a task, um, that I don't take that time out. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Were you going to share, Jack?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a direct answer to the question, but what's on my mind? I feel like I do a pretty good job of being mindful in my day-to-day life, like doing housework and stuff. Like the first mindfulness book I read was the Thich Nhat Hanh, like Miracle of Mindfulness, where the very first chapter is about like washing the dishes and being happy and grateful to be present washing the dishes, not annoyed that you're washing the dishes. So since that was how I first learned about mindfulness, I feel like I'm able to apply it to like that kind of stuff pretty effectively. And I've tried to use it with like chronic pain and, like dealing with the pain, but not like adding the suffering of the frustration with the pain. But where I feel like I need to practice and want to find ways to use it more is with work. Because I work in the nonprofit sector, and like people are just ripping their hair out right now. It's so stressful. So I need to show up in a way that's really calm, so I can help. Well, I have a lot of different time and consultants, so I have other clients. So I need to bring calm, but I also need to not pretend that I don't have feelings about things going on. So I'm like trying to find that balance. So I don't want to bring my feelings into the workspace, because I'm there to kind of absorb other people's and help them with theirs. But I need to find ways to take care of the fact that I need to have feelings about everything that's going on. So
Right.
I was like, I'm going to start coming to this, and I'm going to go to acupuncture.
Oh, those are lovely ways to take care of yourself. You brought up a really interesting point about absorbing other people's energy, and showing up to do that. And it almost seems like it's a favor or a gift to show up and be there for someone else's energy. And then often, I don't know about you, or if that's what you were inferring, but for me, I find that I take that on, and then my energy kind of depletes as that mindfulness sort of fades away. It almost feels like, and so I just wonder if there's moments that you catch yourself, and you're able to pull yourself out of that, or that you're able to share any moments where you're able to catch yourself.
I also equate mindfulness with like just gratitude generally. So even, most days like in the morning, it's just like just being grateful for something. It could be like the food in my fridge, or it could like, the roof over my head, or whatever. Just like the sun, being up or whatever. It's just like being grateful for something. It's like just the easiest way, I think, to just be mindful.
Yes.
I was just thinking that too, because I used to work in nonprofit as well, and saying, you pulling your hair out, and you feel like your efforts are 100% and the results are 50. but I always used to, whenever I used to get really frustrated, for me, I used to just think, okay, look, this frustration is going to a good thing. It is going to help people. So I just keep that in mind. And, you know, every little bit helps. So even if all my efforts don't, produce everything that I wish for, whatever it does, it's more than what those people that are being helped would have gotten. So I just try to keep thinking about that so that every little bit helps and it makes me feel better, and it goes back to the gift and reward thing. It's not a gift or reward, but you 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 feel more satisfied with your effort if you can even see a little sliver of positive or advantage that would not have been there if you hadn't put in your effort. I mean, it's a lot to absorb and say, this is what I'm going to accept. But I think that once I accepted that, no matter how much work I had and how frustrated I was, I always knew that it was helping somebody.
Can I read one?
Oh, please.
Have you noticed moments when you were on autopilot and realized later that you missed something important? Alternatively, have there been times when you were mindful and fully present? How did it feel and what did you notice?
I think for me, mindfulness is not something that necessarily comes naturally to me. Just as I grew up, I had a really rough childhood, and I think when I am mindful, like it's also not easy because yes, I'm in the present moment, but it gives me the space to allow thoughts and feelings and emotions to come up for me, and it's not a bad thing, but it's hard. And so when I am mindful and when I'm really present, um, yes, it gives me an opportunity to like not think about things, but at the same time, it also, I don't know, it gives me the space to really like just be, I guess. And yeah, I think that's something that I'm continuing to work on, is just being content, just like being and not having to think about like, oh, after this class I'm gonna have to go home and cook dinner and then I need to walk my dog and it's like but yeah, I think that's just how I was kind of brought up, is just in a very stressful, hectic environment, just trying to survive day by day. So it's like, of course you're gonna be on autopilot. Um, but yeah, mindfulness, it makes you recognize that you're not in, because your mind can make it feel like something is real when it's not actually happening to you. So when you practice mindfulness and focus on your breath or how your body's feeling or whatnot, yeah, it just makes you realize that you're like safe in the present moment.
So many great points bringing up there, like just going on autopilot and feeling. I love the point that you made about feeling safe, and my favorite thing that you said was that I can just be, because it made me think how simple that I can just be. But there's so many times when I'm not, because I'm either on autopilot or I'm trying to live up to the expectations of my goals or somebody else's goals or the company's goals, something like that. goals that I set for myself a long time ago that I'm still trudging up the hill to try to get, and all of those things. And it keeps me from sometimes being mindful or in the right place. Yeah, so many great nuggets there. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I feel like I connect with what you said a lot as well. I also have, I feel like I had a very difficult upbringing, and I learned to disassociate really early to deal with everything. And so now coming into adulthood and having more tools to be more mindful and learning these tools, when I do catch myself, taking a breath and like looking around and being like, wow, like I have agency, like this body belongs to me, like I am safe, and that's very beautiful. So it's empowering to be mindful for me.
What a great word. I have agency. Yeah.
For me, autopilot is different. I absorb and constantly making medical decisions, like hold it every 5 minutes here. So to me, my autopilot is like living that 10 hours of giving others pretty much. Come home and realize that I'm not lost here of 2 toddlers. That's really difficult. My autopilot is, I find mindfulness there, my only tool. Like take a breath and realize that I'm nobody, and they're in charge. And they find it very difficult, very, very hard.
I think that a lot of times people think of there's a purpose and we always have to be doing something. But I feel like mindfulness is just telling you that you don't have to do anything. There's no purpose. You don't have a deadline. You don't have to, get anywhere. And mindfulness, I think for a lot of people, is a task. But as you mentioned beautifully, it's not a task. It's just being. It's at that moment saying, okay, I'm not gonna worry about anything. I'm just gonna be. Um, I thought that I
Sure.
could read this passage. I had wanted to read a passage, but I thought I probably, wouldn't get a chance. But I'll read this passage. Um, it's from a book called Cultivating a Compassionate Heart. And it's becoming this simple form of Guanxing, or the goddess of compassion. All my faces absorb into the root face, all the arms into the root arms. I maintain the divine dignity of myself as the great compassionate one, with one face and 2 arms, with an om at my crown, an ah at my throat, and an at my heart. I feel like we all have so many, you're a different person at work, but then you go home and you realize your kids are in charge, and right? And so we all have so many different, roles that we play. But I always say that ultimately, if we act from the center, like the root, one face, 2 arms, one mind, one heart, one voice. Doesn't matter how many faces you have. That's just, I'm just trying to bring it back to this book, which I feel like this is really a good representation of that. And you are naming beautiful points. This is one of them.
The first thing that came to mind for me with this question was during COVID when the sky turned orange. I totaled my car just driving over the Park Street Bridge, just going 10 miles an hour, because I was so distracted. I was so stressed. It was so smoky and ashes on our cars, and I really thought the world was ending the day the sky turned orange. And I was driving to pick up one of my kids, and I totaled my car just from being mentally checked out, like physically behind the wheel. I was mentally not there, and everything was fine. This was years ago at this point. I wasn't wasn't injured. My car did what it was supposed to do. It protected me and everything. But it was such a wake up call. And that's where since, the monster took over last week, I feel like I notice it most when I'm driving, that I'm not really in my car. Like my body's there, but my mind is not there.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to slam on the brakes or something, and it's like, oh my God, wake up. So it's like if I'm doing it then and catching it then, surely I'm doing it at all points of the day. So,
Oh, yes.
but it's such a reminder.
Probably it's association, like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I have a home.
Yeah, and just like, I think
know you're driving.
it's been only 2 weeks, but I've just felt like, oh, this year is going to take like a lot of thoughtful, mindful, like scheduling of like calm until it, like what I can normally do to keep myself calm, I just feel like I'm going to have to double down basically, because we're just in stressful times. It reminds me of when COVID started, and it's just a lot of, every day you don't know what's going to happen. So I was like, well, it's a good time to start like just prioritizing calm and self-care and trying to be present.
I noticed I started like watching the news, even like the inauguration. Like I just watched it. Like I don't even know why. Like and like I've just been like tuning in more because and I saw this like thing online from there that was like anybody else like trying to stay aware of what's happening, but like not lose your mind. And I feel like I'm doing that a lot more. And like just like I've never been somebody that just like turns on like the news first thing in the morning, and like I just want to like be informed, but it's just like causing so much stress. And so I'm having to like really get like this opportunity. I was like, okay, I need to do like things like this and just turn off the TV and just like be in silence and like try not to think about things and like breathe and do all the things and meditate. But yeah, it's definitely stressful times. And it's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in moments too where everything that's going on in the country right now, it's like they're so out of my control, but the one thing that you can control is yourself. And like I don't know, I think my priority right now is just focusing on like what I can control, what's gonna make my life go by, and because I feel like once you're stable within yourself is when you're able to help others, in my experience. So I don't know, I feel like this year I'm really dedicating to like health and wellness, and I can't predict the future. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna surrender to the divine, and that's what I can control.
I think having that wellness and healthy focus is really important. I find that during this past few years, especially with COVID, a lot of people kind of fell out of their healthy or well-being kind of lifestyle due to circumstances of not being able to go out or work out, and then getting depressed and eating food that makes you feel self-comforting foods and all of that. So to say that 2025 is the year that we're gonna start over and get rid of all the pandemic 20 pounds, whatever they say, it's freshman 15 or something. I don't know about other people, but a lot of people I know have put on a few pounds, maybe taken it off already. But I kind of feel like we're really, hopefully, on the tail end, and we're able to manage it when we do have a surge or a little episode, just like flu or anything else, and we just go on with our lives. So this could be the year that we just say that's it. We've gotten to a point where we've managed it as much as we can, like any other infectious disease.
For me also, like I know obviously I'm immigrant, pretty obvious in my accent, and so I have felt so much anger, and I think it has been very helpful for me to, put in my mind saying, I'm not an angry person, I'm full of anger. Saying like, I am not an anxious person, I'm full of anxiety. So it has been very helpful to be like, that, because at the end,
Yeah.
it's like end up, thinking in my head, I'm just a very anxious person. It's a very angry human being. And I'm not, like, it shouldn't be like that. So I think that trying to separate my feelings of myself, my self-worth, is difficult, but definitely very important. Brilliant.
Yeah, I love the idea of compartmentalizing your feelings into the spaces where you feel like they're appropriate to handle them, like where you can. It sounds to me like you're saying that where it's appropriate for you to maybe handle it in the right space. What I'm also hearing kind of collectively, and tell me if I'm off base, is that we're such a Western culture that I love that we've all kind of talked about mindfulness in the sense of goals and um, and achievements, and how it's something that we want to achieve. Not that that's a bad thing. That's how the Western mind can be wired at times. I just wonder how when there's that time, and there are those times where I sign up for contests and I will meditate 25 days in a month in order to win a t-shirt or something like that. It's so ridiculous. It's not even worth it because I'm going to do it anyway, but still it's one of those things, and I've got to set it up as a goal in order to feel like I've accomplished it in some way or another. And yet there's the point that this, okay, you know what? The reason that I'm here is not about the t-shirts or the contest or any of those things. So, it's time for bed, it's time for meditation, and got to get that on going. So, I don't know. Definitely reminder to myself.
I did during COVID. I was like Nancy was saying, everybody just like started doing something compulsively, like whether it was eating. I started drinking a lot, and I was just at home and I was super depressed, and I started drinking a lot, and I had to I was like, I need to take a break, and so I like reached out to a program through my insurance, and like was able to get sober for like 3 months, and one of the pathways you can do different things that they offer you different options or whatever. But since I've always practiced mindfulness in one way or another, there was an option to be a part of the Sangha, and like this like mindfulness like pathway to it, and it was so helpful, so helpful. And I think that like the other ways, like other things would not have worked for me, but because that's just something that and the people that I was that were in that program and whatnot were like, it was great, and everybody was talking about how much mindfulness that path had worked for them and in what ways, and it was just like, yeah, it was just really, really cool. So I appreciate that that mindfulness is being used even like through like a medical program to like help with stuff like that. So yeah.
It's definitely more of a focus.
I recently discovered that when we have a task to complete, our mind is processing the solutions for the task, and it's very structured, which is great because that's the goal. But I also have realized that if I spend time allowing myself to just think and sort of you know think about concepts or theories, or there's a situation that came up that I'm kind of thinking, did I make the right decision? Did I not make the right decision? I think that when we don't have a task at hand that we need to complete or find a solution for, our brain, I think, personally for me, has time to think freely about other things that we're
forced to think about because it's work and because we have to have a deadline. And I think sometimes when hiking today with your dog, I think that, that's a perfect example of giving yourself time to not have an agenda in your brain, in your mind, to force you to think certain things, but to go out and see a butterfly and then think of, the butterfly flying and make up this whole story, which, is fun, but you can also come to a lot of realizations and acceptance or surrendering of situations that you may have held on to really tightly. I think you had mentioned, the frustration is not, you're not an angry person. You just have anger for this situation. So I think that those moments, walking the dog or not having that is, if you didn't have that, you're so bogged down with everything else, you wouldn't have that self realization and give yourself that self care.
Just like building off what you said, because this is a question for you, since you study mindfulness much more than I have. Like I feel so much pressure to stay calm. Like it sounds like you have to stay calm at work and parenting. Same here. I have to stay calm at work. I have a million nonprofits that are like funding cuts and clients getting deported, and and I have to show up and be a rock for them, and I have to be a rock for my kids. I don't want them worrying about everything in the world. So, but I have anger that's coming up. I have anxiety that's coming up, and I feel like the realization I've come to is just like putting all this pressure on myself to like stuff it down and be calm all the time is just not realistic. But I'm like not sure what to do with it, and so yeah, similar to you, during COVID, I just drank a bottle of wine every night, and then I ended up in AA.
And you feel you die inside.
Yeah, I'm sober now, thank God. And I'm past the like hardest part of getting through that. But so I feel like I'm on my path of choosing like healthier tools. But this is the first like big test. I feel like because I've been sober for like a year and a half. Like this is the
Congratulations.
First time Shauna was a big help with that. Shauna from who teaches here. But yeah, this does feel like a test. Like now it's like here comes the mother load of hard stuff to deal with, and I'm committed to not going back down that road. But it's like, how do we deal with all these like intense feelings?
Yeah.
Something that helps me is thinking about all the people who've gone through fascist dictatorships and falls of empires and all kinds of things that stay resilient and share their stories of overcoming. And at the end of the day, always remember that love is always stronger than evil and is undominable. And we are much more than the terror we're living through. And we'll get through it together as community, which is what we're finding here. Discussion.
Yes. The community component of it it's so much more powerful than I think credit is given for it. To know that you have others who are out there that feel like you do or similarly in ways and are dealing with stress and trying to put on a good face and be mindful and take care of themselves as well.
Yeah, and can I give a piece of advice?
Bring it on.
Okay. I also think too, like it is okay to be honest about your feelings. Even though like it is so important for like everyone obviously to like stay strong in situations. But like if you're feeling anxiety and like maybe you don't feel comfortable sharing it in the workplace or like with your kids, but having a safe space or a person to be able to talk to and also finding a way to like release it because like anxiety like it builds up in your body and it's important to find a release, whether it's like screaming in a pillow or like running for like 5 minutes or just little things that help you get by. Because even with the kids that I work with, like if they're frustrating me, like I don't yell, but I just say that was really frustrating, or like I don't know. But obviously, yeah, I don't know, like I'm not in the same shoes as you at all, but those are just things that I found are helpful. Because I feel like the minute I release how I'm like feeling to someone who I trust, it like just goes away, or I'm able to get a different perspective. Yeah,
It's very hard.
yeah,
And it's like I 100% know how you feel.
yeah.
As long as I'm like, I'm not sitting inside. That's how I feel.
I came here, so.
Yeah, I'm like, again, I'm just here trying to put a face because people are dying and I have to help. My children are not fault of people dying. But yeah, very tough. I always say that I try to do every single day something just for me. If that is like walking the dogs by myself and reading my naughty books, whatever it is. But 7 minutes for myself, like every single day of the week. And that many times means I wake up at 5. That's the only time I can be calm. If I'm not coffee, I do something for myself. But yeah, I feel like just keep pouring on your water can is empty. So unless you do something to fill it, you literally feel like it's just like dying inside because it's not obvious.
And also you give recognition to yourself when you do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
This
so
is my
important.
moment.
Exactly. And you tell yourself this is for me consciously, and that acknowledgement and recognition is, helps you the moment that you start pouring out again, you know that you get it all back when you get a chance.
So beautiful, you created this space for us.
Oh,
No, it's awesome.
absolutely. I'm so glad we could all join. There's one more question out there? Oh, Peter, you got it.
Has mindfulness helped you respond differently to a challenge? If you're newer in mindfulness, is there a situation where it might have helped?
Yeah, for me, just like when I deal with stressful situations, I like learned tools, including mindfulness, meditation. I take walks all the time now. Like, just need to take a walk. Like, that just helps me so much. And at any given time, just like, I need to walk. And it's been such a thing. And then yoga, of course, come here regularly. And the sense of community that this space, the studio brings is really cool. Especially if you live like in Alameda and whatnot. But yeah, I think definitely those things, like even just like getting through that, like the beginning of a sobriety period was like really hard, and I can't imagine like if I didn't have that that option, that path, and getting those tools, like yeah, that was definitely super helpful, and it continues to help me like now, just not to go off the deep end and where I start getting like really, because I suffer from stress and from depression, so yeah, that it's very, very helpful to just manage.
I think it's unfortunate that we discover mindfulness because we're so stressed out and we need to find a coping mechanism, and then we find mindfulness. Exactly. I wish that we would have just, very healthily found mindfulness.
If they would teach it like in schools or
Yes,
like,
yes.
Things are changing for my kids. I feel like
yeah,
in the schools now, teachers are much more
Oh, yes.
like completely different.
Yeah.
The way we work.
They have meditation.
Yeah,
Little second graders.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
this is the way to be.
yes.
Sorry, could you read the question again?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Has mindfulness helped you respond differently to a challenge? If you're newer in mindfulness, is there a situation where it might have helped?
don't think we have to like give a literal situation. I see what we're all thinking about the situation.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, I'm just trying to cut you off.
No, it's
We're like all quiet. I think it's really the best way to make a decision is with mindfulness. But I think that the challenge is that when we're in a heated emotional moment, we don't, uh, I guess, remember to do that and make sound choices. But I think good choices usually are mindful.
it seems to be that space between where my thought is and where my mouth goes. And
Practicing the pause.
exactly, practicing the pause. And if I am successful, then I practice the pause. But there are times when I am not proud of what comes out of my mouth, and it makes me step back and then question, okay, all right, there's a few moments of beating myself up and okay, I've stepped back and I did the wrong thing and it's not who I want to be. And then I have to think about how to go forward from there. And even at times it's like, okay, do I have to face reconciliation with someone because I blew up, or building a relationship again, so that it's able um, to build its bank again of currency, to speak from a Western perspective.
Yeah, I oftentimes also find like when I am mindful, it just helps me make informed decisions based off of like how my body feels. Like I literally just ended like a relationship today, and like it was just causing me so much pain because I honestly like I didn't want to end things because I just hate hurting people's feelings. But it wasn't the right relationship, and I can't force something that like isn't gonna work. And similar to you both, like this is my first year of sobriety. I'm like coming out of like homelessness, like losing my dad. My mom died when I was young, and like so I can't think about someone else right now. Yeah. And I said it super nicely, but I tried to do it before, and like I was manipulated back into the relationship. And today, like, cause when you sit with yourself, like when I was on the walk today, I was just like, I feel so free. Like I can feel this way. I don't have to. And when I would think about him, I would like get this awful feeling. I just felt in my gut. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in my heart, like oh I was broken hearted. It was like I feel bad because I hate hurting people's feelings. But at the end of the day, like I'm young. I have to live my life for me. This is my life.
That's right.
No one else can live my life for me. So
that's right.
Yeah, and even like when I practice mindfulness, like I always notice my face is like this. And like today when we were doing the meditation, I was like, oh my god, like I need to like relax. And when I'm in that relaxed state, like I'm able to actually I'm able to listen to like what my soul is saying to me, not what my head is saying, not what anything else is saying. Like it's really why I was brought here. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm so happy. I mean, that's partly why I came here. I feel so bad for this person, but yeah, you gotta live on.
Congratulations.
You chose yourself.
Yeah.
I think one of the first times that I ever heard about mindfulness, and this was years ago, like in college, one of my friends, he's now a philosophy professor, and he was taking this courses, and he came across it and was like started to practice it. And I remember him talking about it and mentioning like eating mindfully, and he was like thinking about where the food came from and so on and so forth. And I really like that in this question, one of the examples is savoring the meal. I think especially right now with everything that's going on with with immigration and all the different things, and like how that all of that is gonna probably change where our food comes from and how we get that, and just like being like even just like being mindful of that when you like eat a meal. It's like I think that's gonna take on a different meaning. I think pretty soon here, and that's important.
Be grateful.
Yeah.
Also, the cost of food
Everything,
right now,
yeah.
I mean, it just
Everything.
makes us even, appreciate what we have.
Imports and all the things like yeah.
Well, it's been a great conversation. Oh, I'm sorry,
Is
Peter.
something?
Yes, please.
I know, right? This is only me on here. When it comes to mindfulness, I really just have so much gratitude for the fact that I'm here in America, have an opportunity, especially as a man. I wake up every morning, I have up-teen chances to like finally get it figured out, whatever. And I'm blessed. I've never been homeless, never not had a meal, never had a chance to like use facilities, whatever. And I have it pretty good. And I only live 10 minutes from this yoga studio. That's why I was a little bit late because I forget like, oh wow, it's so close. I should stop watching football. There was no football there, it was basketball. So whatever. The sport ball, as ladies like to call it. And yes, like you had mentioned, and then you mentioned soul. And that's the thing, your soul wants to participate. This is the thing, you need to like slow down. And that's what's great about yoga because it's sensation of the stillness of the mind. What yoga really stands for. And that's what it's so great about. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it this morning. As you know, I like to do like a double header.
Yes, you do.
It's like, hey, I'm here at 8 o'clock, I'm gonna do 9:30, just taking 24 classes since January 6th.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Date which will infamy.
Did you just start yoga practice?
Yeah, I was at Core Power Yoga before that, for like 3 years. But, this way I don't have to drive anymore. It's rock here, and I can be fashionably late, whatever. And that's the thing is you need to like, we need to just like go over our ego. And just be like, hey, this is who I am. And put pen to paper, just journal.
Right.
Even for like 5 minutes, put a timer on your phone. And then keep on writing if you want to. But a lot of people they say, oh, I don't have time, whatever. You know what? Maybe I work as an accountant. I mean, you should audit your time. You spend more time with this phone. This is your BFF. It really is.
Yeah.
It knows more about you than you ever talk to someone eyeball to eyeball, whatever. And that's where life is experienced, IRL, in real life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I remember at I'll be at Tongue Twisters, Toastmasters public speaking group. We meet every Tuesday, 7 p.m. at Acapulco. Welcome to come on DP membership. And you can go there and just talk about whatever. And give a speech and say, hey, this is what's going on. And people will evaluate you. Say, this is how you can work on things. And that's what we are. We're all WIPs, work in progress.
Right.
We're never going to be a finished product. It just goes on, and hey, hopefully we can all become centenarians, 100-year-old. And my father's father, my grandpa, he reached age 95. Rating on a curve, I give this man A+ for longevity. So I come here every day, almost every day. But
pretty close.
Because you have to just work on yourself. You have to just listen. you can't ignore things. You can't just take substances and say, hey, I want to numb out. I want to not be in my body. Because wherever you go, there you are.
It's true.
You can't run away. And you have to just deal with it. And yes, life it's hard sometimes, but it's harder sometimes to be alive than to be dead, honestly. But life is beautiful. And the fact that you are here,
Yes.
you're a product of two people, union. And that's just something wonderful. You have so much to offer. You have so much to give. And yes, a lot of times, I think you had mentioned something about a lot of times it's like waste. It's called Pareto principle. It's like 80% of what we do is just a waste. Because we're just trying to like figure things out. Because we don't know. No one's given us the blueprint.
Right.
That's why we make mistakes. That's okay. The other 20%, hey, that's golden. You know what I mean? And that's when you're gonna really appreciate what you have here and be thankful and have that gratitude. Like, hey, I have opportunity to come here to go to yoga. Self-care is important. It's vital.
Right.
And you can't outsource it. You have to do it.
Yes. And thank you.
Yeah, I wish I could tell my friend, hey, I'll do your yoga for you. But it doesn't work like that.
You can do mine for me.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Is if you don't go to yoga class, you pay me $10. That'll make you go. Because you don't want to pay me, right? So.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Simple economics 101. Yeah.
We have run out of time, and yes, we believe that. Yes, it went by so fast, and so appreciate your contributions and your time here today. Just a couple notes that I wanted to wrap up with. Mindfulness does not have to be a formal practice. Here are a few ways to bring mindfulness to your life this week. And I just jotted down some notes. Take a deep breath before beginning a task. Pause to notice colors, sounds, or sensations around you. And savor the taste of your food or the feelings of water on your hands. These small movements can transform your day and help you feel more grounded and connected. So with that, I am grateful for you coming today and appreciate your time. I guess just if you would take your things and put them back onto the cubbies. And there's a suggestion box up here since this is the first night that we've gathered. Then thank you. Thank you. Your feedback would be greatly appreciated.
I like when you read us poems and quotes.
Oh.
So is there, that's from cash, is there a way to do it like Venmo or like?
Yeah. In fact, it's right on the front. There's the if you look, there we go. It's Venmo, and there is PayPal.
And it's the same thing. It's like I feel in my body that this is not right. You know, I don't need to like stop it. You know, it's like, hey, you don't need to think any further. Once you have that, it's over.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was volunteering this morning.